1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello and welcome to Can Do Conversations. I am Cheryl Williams, the Can Do Mom.
I'm CJ Williams, the Can Do Dad. Thank you for being here.
Welcome, guys. We are happy to have you here for another amazingly awesome episode.
Another conversation.
That's right. That's what we bring you. Conversations of all kinds. You know, it's things usually that we're talking about. And we're like, you know what? We should, expand the conversation and invite you guys in. So these are topics that either we want to talk about, we have talked about, we think we should, have more communication and conversation on. And so that is what Can Do Conversations is all about. And today's conversation is very near and dear to our heart on multiple levels.
Time.
And this is all about detoxifying your life. And we are going to take this down a few different avenues.
Yes.
Because we're not just talking about detoxifying on one level.
Yeah, it's about 10 different paths.
I mean, there's multiple levels, whether it's your mind, it's your body,
relationships,
what your environment, your house,
what you're watching,
who you're talking to, what you're thinking about. So all of these different things come in, and we need to work on detoxifying ourselves from that. People talk about all the time is like, there's a lot of toxicity in the world. It's like,
yes,
but are you allowing that into your environment? There's a lot of
social media.
There's a lot of toxic chemicals in the world too. Are you having those in your environment?
Yeah. Are you buying those?
Right. So we want to bring some awareness and shed a little light on how to go about detoxifying.
Don't buy. Read the label. Social media. Don't watch certain things. You ever see it, it comes up in your feed. You get rid of it and let them know, I don't want to see that again. And you choose what you watch.
Yeah. And so
you choose what you put on your body.
What we're going to go down is let's first talk about
Be more focused.
The main thing that you need to detoxify first and foremost is you. So let's start with your mind, right? You need to figure out what toxicity are you allowing to permeate into your mind and into your body. And so it starts up here, right? We love to go mind and body. And a lot of the things that we talk about,
yes, we do.
Because it's not either or, it's an and. There's multiple things that are going on in this, and they are connected. And so if your mind's not right, your body's not usually right. If your body's not right, maybe your mind's not right. And so when we're talking about detoxifying your mind, it's like, what are the thoughts that you have going on in your mind? What is the tape that you have just playing over and over and over again in your mind? Is it serving you?
Yep.
Is it toxic? Is it benefiting you? Is it helping you get closer to the person that you want to become? And if the answer is no,
you have to just stop.
You got to let it go, right? And you have to be specific about that as well. It's like, it's not as easy a lot of times for people just saying, okay, well, I don't want to do that anymore. Okay, you can't just eliminate. You have to replace, because if you just eliminate, then there's a void, right? And so we need to fill in the void and not just take things out. We need to replace them with something else. And so if the thoughts that you have in your mind right now aren't serving you, you need to replace them with better thoughts.
Yes.
How do you do that?
By thinking about what you want. Thinking about what you want for your future. What is your plan that you want to create for you and your family? And the ways on getting there.
And how are you, putting good things into your mind, focusing on the things that you want more of, focusing on, when you're reading something, is it something that's serving you? Is it something that's helping you?
Making you better.
Is it something that's making you better and elevating you? The things that you're listening to, the music or the podcasts or the shows that you're watching, are those helping the thoughts in your mind?
Or is it doing the total opposite?
Be powerful ones and not toxic ones? Is it pushing you closer to where you want to go, or is it pulling you back? So these are the things that you have to start looking at, because each one of those things, same thing with social media. Social media is very powerful when it's used correctly.
Yes.
When you're using it as a place to get all your gossip or getting all of your toxicity, instead of watching the news, you just have it on your, on your phone, ready to go at any time. Maybe we need to start eliminating
Yes.
some of those things and replacing
push
them
it to the side.
with better, right? And so if those things are coming up on your feed, if they're not serving you, there's an unfollow button. There's a button that you can just
stop,
get rid of it,
block.
and so that you don't have to see that coming up anymore.
Yes.
If you're looking at something and it makes you feel a certain kind of way, and it's not one that's aspirational or one that's pushing you or one that's speaking well into you, and it's bringing you back down, right? And your energy subsides and you don't feel like you're the person you want to be,
self.
then you need to let that go. Whether that's a friendship, whether that's a relationship, whether that's social media, whether it's things you're watching or listening to.
News.
How is your energy? How are you feeling when you're putting yourself into these situations? Because that's a real litmus test.
Do you feel better after the fact?
Right. Or do you feel worse? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel like you can do anything? Do you feel more anxious? Do you have more anxiety? Do you have more fear? Do you have more doubt? Do you have more anger? Do you have more lack? Do you just feel blah, like your energy was just sucked out and zapped out of you? You need to take account for that.
Yes, and then realize what did that to you so you don't have to deal with that again. Because on a daily basis, it's just going to bring you down and you're going to be a different person for you and your family.
And so if that's constantly zapping you and draining you, you need to know yourself. You need to know how you're feeling. You need to know when you're in this situation, what happens. Or you've done this, how do you feel? If you're not feeling better, if you're not feeling encouraged, if you're not feeling pushed or motivated or challenged to do something better or different or more, and you're just being like thrown up upon and it's just crap being spewed to you, you need to change the channel. You need to, get something different
that you
coming
like.
in.
There's things that you like to do or like to see. Do more of that. And they'll put you in a better state, a more positive state.
It's like we were talking about a minute ago. Eliminate the toxicity, replace it with something better, right?
Yes.
And so, okay, if you want to get on social media, and that's something you want to do, how can you be creating the content that you're seeing? How can you go from a consumer to a creator? How can you make sure that you're supporting other people that are putting out good things,
and reaching out to them.
things that are helpful?
Yes.
How can you make sure you're seeing more of that? How can you let that speak more into your life? Same thing with your shows you're watching. If they're not helping you, if they're not serving you, do you really need to be watching them? The music that you listen to.
It's a waste of time because you could be doing something more positive than watching something you don't like that.
The music that you listen to, is that something
headbanger
that is making you feel better? Because music can do all. It can make you feel every emotion.
Do you feel like dancing or not?
It can make you feel anger. It can make you feel happiness. It can make you feel sadness. It can make you feel reflective. It can make you have more energy. It can make you more introverted. So again, you've got to know you. How does that reflect on you?
Yeah, something that won't make you cry either.
I like music that makes you cry. A good cry is
Do
good.
you?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay.
I was crying the other day for a song. Oh, so beautiful.
What song was this?
I don't remember, but there's nothing wrong with crying. It's a good, you just let it go. And crying is not a bad thing either. It's stiff upper lip. It's actually feeling that emotion sometimes. It's not a bad thing to cry.
Yeah.
It's not good, bad. Who knows?
Apologize
it's feel the emotion, work through it, and move on. It's okay, I had a nice release. Let's keep moving.
Okay.
So again, it's same thing with the podcast, right? Or the things that you watch on YouTube or wherever you
is
consume.
it helping you at all?
Are those? Is it taking you down a path that makes you feel better, or is it taking you down a path that makes you feel worse?
And
right?
you're the judge.
And so, when you're watching or listening to this, we want you to feel better. We want you, sometimes you got to feel where you're at and, deal with that.
But we want to bring you up.
But we want to elevate you. We want to bring you up. We want to give you ideas and insights and information. And
to get excited.
Change the conversation and the narrative, right? And so if the other things that you're watching and listening to aren't helping you do that, find other ones that will.
Yes.
Fill in that with things that are actually helping you and serving you, and unfollow and get rid of.
Yes.
And unsubscribe from things that aren't.
Yes.
Right? And also, instead of being a consumer on everything, if you can be a creator, if you can be someone putting good things out, and that's gonna come back to you as well.
Start with one video.
So
just get on camera.
Do more.
Just yourself.
You have ideas, you have insights, you have information, you have a perspective. Start putting that out there. Let people
or it could be a
see
message.
more about you and who you are. Because people need
and
more
of
that. People need more of you.
You might have a beautiful message to share.
So sometimes you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable in the newness or the feel the fear and do it anyways. You got to keep moving in that.
Yes.
So those are some things for your mind, but then also like how can you put better things into your mind? What you're reading, what you're studying, what you're doing. How can you go outside and detoxify your mind first thing in the morning where you fresh air and you get the sun and you get those things coming to you and you get your feet, into the ground and really connect to the energy that's all around you.
Yes, and take longer than 1 minute to do that. Sometimes it takes a little longer. You might need 15, 30 minutes. And just so the earth, give it the vibration can come up and then take hold and help you.
And then, next one is your body. What are you putting in your body? What are you putting on your body? What are you putting around your body? And so the food that you're putting yourself, is that giving you more toxins, or is that helping to detoxify? Is that helping to make you stronger and better?
Well, we just had Halloween, so you got a stash and you're eating everything in the bag, your kids' bags, or are you taking a few things out for yourself for another time? Are you going to donate all the candy? So you need to figure out just with that kind of stuff alone, are you just, getting busy because it's there?
And also, what's in your pantry? What's in your fridge? What's in your cupboards? Are they things that are helping you get closer to who you want to be?
You might need that trash bag.
Are they, toxic things? Literally toxic, right? So you've got to look around and see, because if it's there, it's normally eaten. If it's not there, you won't. So can you donate items? Can you get rid of items? Can you replace it with things that are better for you, that are going to help you down the path that you want to go down? Things that are not going to be filling your body up with a bunch of toxins, up with a bunch of junk. It's going to be things that are going to help your energy levels and things that are going to help you thrive and become stronger and just run on all cylinders.
Energy. And you got to watch out for what you're cooking in also. The oils.
The pans.
The pans. What are you using? Is it seeping through, getting in your body? Just like plastics. You got to watch out for that. We went to all glass. Thank goodness. It took some time. Glass. It took some time, and we figured it out. Yeah.
It's like when you know better, you do better. And so when you start looking at all of these different things, all these different toxicities that are coming into your life, instead of just allowing them to continue to just come in, you start getting rid of, you start replacing, you start, you know what, we're not going to do this anymore, I'm not going to bring that into the house anymore, okay, we're going to change this, we're going to cook in something differently, or I'm going to use, instead of going out and getting the quick, easy, foods, I'm going to actually get things that are better, that are still quick and easy, a little more effective. Takes a little more planning,
costs the same price.
Yeah. Pre-packaged, pre-done junk.
Price.
A lot of times costs more than getting the ingredient or two and cooking it yourself. And then you know what's in it. So again, can you eliminate a lot of these other things that are coming in that are toxic, that are coming into your environment, that you're putting into your body? Same thing with your water.
And your body, your lotions. You really have to watch out for those.
Yeah.
And what you wash, you bathe in, what you wash your hair, your conditioners. I mean, there's so many different ways.
There's just toxic things everywhere.
Yes.
And even like I was saying a second ago, your water that you're drinking, a lot of times that's toxic. Well, you're like, I'm drinking water. But if you're not filtering your water, the water is not good. I mean, with the day and age that we live in right now,
it's gotten worse.
Water is very toxic. It has a lot of toxic things in it, metals and chlorines and just all kinds of junk that's in it. And so you need to have something that you're filtering your water through so that when you're putting it into your body, it's fueling your body. It's not water and a bunch of other stuff in it.
Yes. And it has a bad taste.
Yeah. And it shouldn't taste like anything. Water should be clean and pure, and it shouldn't have any taste. So, work on, and again, this is a lot of information coming at you. So one thing at a time. What can you do right now? Do that, and then work, okay, what can I do next? And then do that. And this is a stepping stone approach, but you have to be aware of what's on. And maybe you have one area of your life that you have totally detoxified, but then you have these other things that you're not. Or you at one point had it detoxified, but then some things have kind of creeped back in. You know what I mean? Like holidays are coming up, so maybe you get some more junk that you don't normally have in the house. Or, you want to have some fun treats. Or, you kind of just let that slip it over here. And you're like, you know what? I was kind of over here gravitating to things that I was spending more time doing this. Or
you can't wait for the parties so you can really have fun.
So again, it's like when you know better, you do better. And sometimes you got to check yourself too. It's like, okay, am I doing what I know I need to be doing? Or have I kind of let it go over here a little too far over here?
Yes.
Bring it back in, reel it back in, and then just keep going forward. And then like you were talking about a minute ago, the things that you put on your body are just as important as the things you put in your body. The toxins that are in lotions and shampoos and conditioners
Toothpaste.
and gel and hairspray and dry shampoo and toothpaste and face products and makeup and nail stuff, and like it's thing after thing. We're just being overladen with toxicity.
And they're allowed in this country.
Yeah.
When in other countries they're banned.
Without being checked. And so you have to, as the consumer, you have to know and you have to investigate and know that most of
Just
the things
read
out
the
there
labels.
aren't any good. So we
No.
got to go back to the basics, the simplicity of what you need and work forward. And so you got to really audit what that is. Just like you were talking about the laundry and stuff. Like you wash your clothes and all these toxic things. They have all these smells and all these chemicals and all this stuff. And then you wear that on your skin. Well, your skin is your biggest organ. So not only are you putting lotion all over it that's
and it
normally
just seeps
toxic, you have all these clothes now that are toxic. And what you're
Yes.
breathing, it gets everywhere, right?
Just like the wipes, the dryer sheets.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to take walks near the kids' school, and they always were running cycles.
houses all around
The
there.
houses would run cycles of the sheets, and they would come out, and they almost made us sick.
Yeah, I was like the toxicity that's in the
So
air right
horrible.
now, just from all the dryers that are running and stuff. It's like
just horrible.
You've got to be aware, and the more that you do this, the more aware that you're going to get. When you start
Yes.
taking things out, and you're
Yes.
not.
And
That's
you
not
can
in your
replace
life
those.
anymore. You start becoming more sensitive and more
Yes.
aware of. Okay, wow, that's horrible. Just like
Yes.
when we
Your
go to
dishes.
the we go to the
dishes too.
We go to the mall and you walk past some of those stores and like the fragrances that are permeating give me a headache just walking by. It's because it's so toxic.
Yes.
And people are using these things every day.
Every day.
Same thing with your dishwasher or what you're putting on your dishes and your soaps
Yes.
and your
What you're
cleaning
washing your hands with.
your cleaning supplies. I mean, we had let the kids now, we wanted them to start learning how to do bathrooms and clean the kitchen and doing chores. It's like, I'm not going to give them those toxic things.
Yes, they'll make
to
you pass
use.
out.
I mean, they have warnings on the back. If it gets in your eyes, call this
Yes,
person, do that.
don't have it on your
Breathing
mouth.
it in. You can't mix this chemical with that chemical. You have some sort of reaction.
The shower door's closed, so you're in there with the toxins.
And so again, you don't need all that stuff. I mean, we
No.
clean with baking soda, washing soda, and distilled white vinegar.
Yes.
Those are like the main things, and most of them
really well.
do a better job than
Anything.
all the other name brand stuff. And you need 10 of this and 20 of that and
Yeah.
things over here, and you have
Yeah.
5 caddies for all the
Yeah,
stuff.
and
It's
she
like,
made those.
You don't need
things.
all that stuff.
Just put it in the oven.
For the washing soda, that's all
Yeah.
you need. I mean, baking soda comes the way it is. The vinegar, normally you can
Yeah.
add some water to it, have a little squirt bottle, and,
And
you're
that's
good
it.
to go.
And it cleans like
And the same
bomb.
thing with like dishwashing powders. Change it out. That stuff is on your plates, on your
Oh
silverware.
yeah,
You're
those
eating-
little gel packs.
You're eating
Oh,
all
my
of the
God.
toxins that are on that get into you.
Yes, you made your own also.
Yeah,
Of that,
so
right?
again,
what is it mixed with?
All kinds of stuff. I'm not doing the
Oh,
recipe
okay.
right now. It's
Yeah.
little
so
this,
we have a
little
little
that.
powder.
All
and that's
kinds of
it.
stuff. So again, you have to become aware of the toxins that are around. We love candles, but however, I couldn't handle candles anymore. Even the more
No.
natural ones,
No.
they were still permeating. So what we've done is we've gone into diffusers that have essential oil, not fragrance
Yes.
oils.
And you're in charge of
essential
your own
oils.
scents.
And so that is something we can still have that enjoyment of those fragrances periodically with a little drop of this, little drop of that.
Yep.
And so it's all these things that are just there. That's like, okay, well, you have this and you do that. But when you know better, you do better. And so you change things
Yes.
up. And it's not either or. You
Yes.
can have, the fun and the smell, and it can be healthy, right?
You ready for the big one? The medicines.
Yeah.
So trained on, oh, I have a headache, I need a pill. Kids have a cough, I need the kids' cough medicine. I mean, that stuff is filled with the worst possible.
You need your uppers and your downers, or your thises and your that's, like every little thing. It's like, how about we get to the bottom of why do you have a headache? Like,
Yes.
have you had any water today? Have you, did you get your rest? Did you have you eaten what you need to be
anything?
eating? Like when you, instead of just popping a pill to pop a pill, or like, okay, you have a cough. All right,
Yes.
well, what does that mean? It means you have some congestion. Okay, so how do we eliminate the congestion? Because the cough medicine is just masking the cough. It's not
does.
actually getting to the
It
root of
never
what it
fixes
is.
it.
When you have some sort of ailment, it's what is it? What is it? What is your body telling you? When you have a fever, fevers aren't normally bad. That's your body's way of heating up to push out the infection or push out the virus that's going on, so your body heats up and let that go. Now, if it gets to a certain temperature, yeah, okay. But, if it's up a couple degrees, that's just your body doing its natural thing.
Yes.
So you don't want to then, take some Tylenol or slap it down to get that to come back down, because then it didn't do what it needs to do to fight off what it needs to fight off. Your body knows most of the time what it's doing. Now, there are reasons for certain things, yes.
Yes.
But what happens nowadays,
and stuff like that,
and there's reasons for doctors and hospitals and
a broken arm
and potions and all kinds of stuff. But again, don't just slap it in and slap it on, because that's what everyone does, right?
Yep.
It's like
You need a pill.
if you need it and you've exhausted your option and you're sure that's what you need, then go for it, right? But don't just run to it to mask something that can actually
make it
you
worse.
can get to the root of what it is that you need. And so we make a lot of our things, we create a lot of these things, and they're from food, right? So I know it's not toxic. We're not gonna
elderberries.
they're not gonna overdose on honey or elderberry syrup or garlic. You can't eat enough garlic, anyone would want to it's like, again, it's
garlic
like
with honey infused.
all these kinds of things. If we go back to a more simplistic, a more
Like it used to
natural
be.
approach, instead of all of these chemicals and all of these
Yes.
toxins, and then one problem crosses the next problem, then you gotta fix it with the next thing. It's like,
and then you're told all these things, the healthy things, don't work for you.
Right.
But the toxic ones do.
and sometimes they don't work, some of these healthy things, because you have to detoxify out
Your body first.
all of the crap that's in your environment, that's in your body, that's in your mind, and let all that go so you can get back down to somewhat of an even playing field, so that you can get back to your body doing its best work, and then helping it when it needs a little bit of help here and there. Little extra zhuzh over here, a little extra over there. But again, we're human beings. Your body has a natural process. If we can get back to the more natural way of getting rid of the toxins and getting rid of all the chemicals. I mean, right now we live on a farm, and we have this massive farmer's field that's next to ours. And when we moved here, we knew it was a field. But since we've been here a while, we now know what they do with the field, and that they constantly spray chemicals on it.
Yep.
Well, that's not something that we're very happy about right now. And so it's like, okay, we're here for right now, but we know we're not going to be here forever, because that's not something that's in alignment with what we want and who we are and where we want our kids to grow up.
And we'll never be next to it again.
Or where we want to be able to walk around, because even though we have our land, our acreage,
but it
seeps into, it comes over, it's in the air.
Right.
They're not out there spraying every day.
No.
But again, it's there, right? And so if we can get ourselves away from some of these things and not put ourselves in those types of things and add more to it, the better, right? And same thing with you're putting into your body. Like, if you can put higher quality, better stuff, more simplistic
more
things,
organic
not
also.
stuff that has a laundry list of ingredients in it, half of which you don't even know what the heck they mean or what they are. It's like, get back to it's meat. Oh, it's a potato. It's a rice. Oh, look, it's an apple. Oh, it says cheese. Oh, I got it's maybe one or two things. When you get back to the root of, you want protein, you want carbs, you want fats. Okay, well, how can we get a one source protein, right? Where it's one ingredient. There's
only.
You could name, how can you get your protein, your carbs to be carbs that aren't, boxes full of stuff and ingredients miles long? And the same thing with your fats. It's like, your body needs all of those things. It doesn't need those things with all the extra crap that comes along with it.
That's why it's great to count your macros.
And so you know what you're getting, what you're putting
and what
into
your
body.
Wants.
And then the same thing, your mind, your body, what you're exposed to, what you have coming to you. The same thing for your kids. I mean, they have so many toxins and so many things and so much stuff. But if we don't let that become a part of what they have at all times, then we're able to help them with that, right? If we don't have a pantry full of garbage, right?
And they're going 100 miles an hour from the from the sodas and the this and that. That's why they have, I got to take a pill for that because of learning disabilities, because they have all this, and they're just too hyper. You need this,
but they're kids,
that.
right? So kids aren't meant to sit and be sedentary either. They're meant to run and roam and be and explore.
And then that doesn't help with all the other junk on top of it.
And then when you give them all this junk and bullshit that's tied into all kinds of stuff all the time, it's not healthy. It's not good. And so start flipping over the label and looking what's in it. If it has dyes and colors and preservatives and additives
you can
and
change the
extra
sodas
stuff,
around.
just change it up. tweak
Even
it.
a soda, you can change it.
And you know what? In the beginning, they might not like it. That's okay. You know?
Yeah.
But when they start getting used to that, then they do.
They will.
Right?
Yes.
And
then
so
they'll crave that.
sometimes things are so sweet that giving them something that's sweet, like a piece of fruit, is not sweet enough until they don't keep having
we
the
need
extra thing, the
natural.
extra sugar, that we start getting that baseline again,
Yes.
back to where it actually is.
Right.
And so pick 1 or 2 things that you
work
can
out
start
at a time.
working on to detoxify. Are you going to start with your mind? Are you going to start with your body? Are you going to start with your
Yeah.
environment? Are you going to
What
start
you're
with your
watching.
cleaning products? Are you going to
Yes.
start with your, your food? Are you going to start with what you're putting on your, pick 1 or 2 things.
Yes.
And then just start changing it.
Yes.
That way you're not getting overwhelmed. You don't have to do it all at once. It's not something you're like,
Yes.
so much,
Stop
you're not
everything.
You're not going to do anything. It's like, pick
Don't
something.
put a cage around yourself.
No, pick something and then go on. And the other thing
Yes.
is, don't live in fear, right? Like, we're having a conversation. Yeah, there's a lot of things, but there's also a lot of good things. So start looking for more of the good things. Look for
They're
the
around.
healthier things. Look for the
Yes.
things that bring you energy and bring you light.
Right. And you might have to shop somewhere else.
Change it up. Move it around where you're going, because
Yes.
when you're in your pattern, you're
just
go
used to
here,
that
you go there,
closest
you go
place.
here, you go there. It's like, well, maybe you need to go over here, maybe you need to change it up
Yes.
over here, or
Yep.
test some different things out. And that's the thing, is testing things out. What works
Yes.
for you?
Get one of.
I mean, we've gone through how many deodorants attempting to find a natural.
10.
We finally have found one. It's like, okay,
Yes.
if we would have stopped at 1 or 2, we wouldn't have gotten there, right?
No.
And so you have to figure out what works for you and your
especially
family
for me.
and your body and your environment, and what do you enjoy and what do you want, and still live a full life. This is not
Vibrant
like
life,
taking
yes.
things out, like you can't have this, and
Yes,
you're
you
not
can't
allowed
have
to do
chocolate
that.
anymore.
It's like, no, you know what? If you want to indulge in that every once in a while, great.
Fine.
But don't have it in the house all the time, because then it's not an indulgence anymore. It's not a treat. It's a consistent thing you're doing all the time, right? If you want to have ice cream, maybe, okay, great.
Yeah, make
it
your
a
own.
healthy ice cream where you could have the cream and you could have the maple syrup or the honey in it. You could have
Yes,
the
you can
eggs in there.
change it up.
And then what is it? It's just milk and eggs and honey, and it's mixed together
Yes.
and frozen. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
it
have you
doesn't
looked at
have
ice cream
all
before?
the
The
junk and
ingredients?
fillers and stuff in it.
Yes. It's just they throw junk in there too.
So you can embrace some of these things that are like, oh, you shouldn't have that. Or you should. Well, maybe you could have some things. Like we just made some eggnog, right? And I'm
Yes,
like, it's
it was
like a
fantastic.
treat, but it's almost like breakfast. I mean, it was milk and eggs. I mean, and some
There
and
you
maple
go.
syrup. It's like,
yes,
well,
it's about how you fix it.
it's, again, if you go buy it at the store, it's one thing. If you take milk and cream and eggs and maple syrup,
Yes, and a
some,
little this,
and some
little that.
seasonings, and you mix it together, I mean, that sounds
That's
pretty
it.
good to me.
Yes.
Yeah, it's darn good.
Better
So,
than the store.
Again, sometimes you got to do some things differently. Sometimes you have to go through trial and error. Sometimes you got to, figure out what's not working to figure out what is working, right? Play with it. Don't be so set in stone. Like, I didn't work, I'm not doing that again. No, do it
Yes.
this way and do it that way and change it up and tweak it. And then you're going to find what works for you, what works for your family, and what you enjoy. And then you're not just going through the motions and going through and saying, okay, well, this is how it is. This is how it's going to be.
Yes.
It's like, no, you can make things better by putting attention on it. One thing at a time, do it and change it. Another thing at
Yep.
a time, change it up and make it work for you.
Yes.
All right,
That's
so the mission for you is to detoxify. Pick 1 or 2 areas that you want to detoxify and change up, and dig
then
and
pick
go
another.
all in on that. Get that 1 or 2 things
Yes.
done, and then pick another,
Right.
and then keep
Just-
going.
And do a little research so you can get outside your box.
Yeah.
Because whatever you create for yourself might not be broad enough.
Yeah.
So look it up. Check it out.
Figure out what works for you.
Yes,
but
there's more options.
Don't just go through the motions, right?
Yes.
Question it. Look
Yes.
at it. See it for what it is, and then decide: is this helping you get closer to where you want to go? Is it, or is it pulling you away? And then when you start answering those, you're going to start getting more into that,
And you'll see a change.
and you'll start feeling a difference too. You'll start seeing
Yes.
a difference in your family and how you feel and how you look and
You'll
just
notice.
overall your energy and well-being. And that's how you know these little things are working for you.
Yes.
All right, guys. We love you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for spending
Please
some
share.
time with us. Make sure you share this out.
You're loved.
And remember, we can do it, and so can you. We'll talk to you next time, guys. Bye.